Hey, welcome back. TechBilly83 giving you an update on the shipping container train layout. So in between work and all the other stuff, I managed to get some time to work in here. I got what do you call that thing? Oh, a dehumidifier. And I put a hose on it so it's draining right outside because it's really humid right now, like really humid. We're getting flash flooding all over the place, and it's like super humid to the point where I'm not running the fan to draw air through here. Because I can neither confirm nor deny that we might have had a miniature rainstorm in here, but nothing got ruined. Trust me, it's okay. All right, so let's get into it. Where do we start? So much to talk about here. I guess we'll start over here. So, got some trains and oh, look at that excavator. That's a Cat 365 that I scratch built. Everything moves, you know. Yeah, I built that many years ago. Alright, so over here we've got, this is going to be where the Amish shed operation is. So this area here is a little scrunched up, a little congested. Got my dad's birthday present there. So those four, that little warehouse type looking building there, that is the leftovers from the Walther's Chocolate Factory, which I used the Walther's Chocolate Factory to make some, to make a factory that's going to make really, really hard gray chocolate, if you know what I mean. We'll get to that in a minute. But the way I built that other building, I managed to end up with two ends and two sides, and I'm like, you know what? That's going to be the Amish shed factory. So there you have it. I got a little wood shed thing there that's going to go behind the sawmill. So I gotta get this whole area figured out here. I'm thinking it's going to be something like that. Actually, it's going to go further back because you'll see that it's blocking that doorway. But the sawmill itself is going to be across the front of this, so like the log loading is going to be here, and then the actual saw and the carriage and all that stuff will be there, and then lumber storage in the back there, and then that's going to be where they make sheds inside, and their house is going to be in the back, so on and so forth. Moving up over here, this is going to be a heavy equipment repair business. That freestanding roof thing there, that's just there. That's not part of this business. But yeah, so this 365 here that I built, that's just the tip of the iceberg. In fact, there we have a 5110B and a 5130 all in parts and pieces. Oh, and there's a scrap shear for the 365 as well. I'll go over that more later. I built those by scratch. The 5110B 100% from scratch. The 5130B, the only thing that's not scratch built is the undercarriage. But yeah, eventually I'll do a video on those. But I have quite a bit of construction equipment that I built back in the day. When I was doing the trains, that kind of morphed into the construction equipment, and then back to trains and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of my construction equipment models scattered around this building here. It's going to be Slows Heavy Equipment Repair. There's the rural fire department. That was down here, but plans are changing because, as you can see, Sproutville is undergoing some urban sprawl here. So, and there's a fire department right there. Turns out that is the Walther's Fire Department. And they make a two-door version, so Now wondering if I want to maybe actually acquire the two-door, because it kind of makes more sense for a sprawling metropolis of this size. So there's that. Then we got this blue building here. I don't know what that place is. It's actually Pike's Stuff kit. I didn't actually build this piece here where the roof is all like caving in and everything. I didn't build that. I bought that as part of something else, and I just stuck it on the front of this thing because it's already kind of set up as an office. So I'm gonna fix that roof line. Don't you worry. Yeah, this is like what is it? The MA something or other Enterprises or whatever. There's supposed to be like a thing, like another second story, and whatever up in the top. I don't think I'm actually gonna add that in there. I'm just gonna throw the roof over and call it a day. But whatever they make there, they got a tank of something. So I'm sure we'll see a CSB report and an OSHA report out of there someday. That there is the Dollar Colonel. You're gonna march right in for deals. So that's the dollar. Was it the dollar or the Bargain Depot? That's the Walthers Bargain Depot. So at first I was gonna call it the Dollar Dump, but then the Sprouts like, nope, you gotta call it the Dollar Colonel. So we had some ha-has and jokes about that, and so it's now the Dollar Colonel. That pad there is the Walthers grocery store. And then this here is going to be the gas station, the modern gas station. And I glued all these pads together to get the footprint so that I could space all this stuff out appropriately and figure out where the property lines are and that sort of stuff. So that little gas station there, that is actually going to be converted into a restaurant. So that's going to be a roadhouse. And I need to build an addition to go on the back of it. So between the back of that building and the tracks, there's going to be an addition, which is basically going to be the kitchen and the walk-in freezer and stuff. The garage bays are going to be open table seating. The glass office area there, that's going to be the bar and restrooms. And then I think we may include a outdoor seating area over here. It's the plan at this point. Idea being that was the original gas station, and that company owned all the land, so when it came time, they just built another gas station and called it a day. And, the EPA and DEC and everybody were none the wiser. So, got converted into a restaurant. That's how things go, at least here in New York. We just kind of pave over our corruption and pollution and, put up malls and shopping centers and everything else. Destiny USA. There is a train station and a communications hut with a shipping container. There's going to be some railway maintenance vehicles parked there. Like the trucks with the service cranes that have the big sections of rail on them and all that stuff. Let's get back over here to Sproutville real quick. So there's Miranda's Bananas. That used to be up top. Now it's down here. It just seemed like a better fit to go here. And that's one of the concrete pads from the Walthers gas station. That guy there, he came with the original layout that I got from the hobby shop local many, many years ago. And he's still on patrol. So I acquired a whole bunch of buildings from the local guy. Those two brown ones, this whole row here in the front, and then that guy. Turns out apparently that's actually the old Walthers headquarters building. But I think it's going to be the Sproutville Loan and Trust. Looks bankish to me. This is a possible layout of the streets. Trying to decide on what makes sense and what buildings and structures fit in where and all that. We still have all this room over here to play with. That pole barn with the front loader, that is part of the highway department. So there's going to be a big brick building over there, which is the DPW, and That's going to be part of that. So basically, the way I'm thinking is that that shed probably is going to come back to where that joint is and the rails there, and then from there over it's going to be more buildings. Sproutville Diner is going to go right in here somewhere, so there's still quite a bit of stuff to go on there and go in there. I'm trying to figure out if I can put some more industries in the back there. Maybe move that train station up closer into that area. I don't know. That passenger station. And then just try to cram more industry, you know, for car switching and what have you in there. Yeah. Alright, now, behold the meat and potatoes. Alright, so let's start here. So, this is the precast concrete factory. So the name of this place, the name of this business here is going to be Stunati's. And they make precast and ready mix. So I got some 89-foot flat cars that are going to carry the precast bridge beams and culverts and pipes and all that stuff. And then some spacer cars, because you know when we put 100-foot loads on 89-foot cars, we're going to have some overhang. So they got some, you know, spurs and whatnot off of this, I guess we'll call it a siding. And that there is the Walthers Blue Star Ready Mix. And I'm going to put a conveyor between them. And that's going to bring the wet concrete right into the building here. And then, you know, that's how they're going to get their concrete to do all the precast pre-tensile structures. That in the back there is a Concor aggregate thinger structure, so that's got aggregate bins and conveyors and such. And then we've got the Walthers Medusa cement silos. So we've got our Portland in those silos, we've got our aggregate there, and then the water comes out of the water main, and then we got cement, concrete. So I just built the rough structure there to just get an idea of footprint and that kind of stuff. I actually do also have this guy that I need to cut to the proper depth, and then it's going to go in there. That's going to be the vehicle maintenance shop. So kind of fill that gap in there. Let me move the ladder here. There we have a enclosure for dump trucks to pull in there. So that's the aggregate bin that was part of the ready mix kit. So I'm putting that in there. I may have to shave that down a little bit. I got to put some trucks next to it, and to make sure that the tailgate actually clears the front edge of that thing. Got to be a little bit realistic, you know. And the conveyor belt's going to go out of there. The other thing I'm thinking about doing here is the Sterling Dairy kit had a concrete beam structure for rail cars to dump coal into the coal bunker for the factory for the boiler. I may put that somewhere in here so that a hopper car full of aggregate can come here and dump straight in, and that's going to go underneath and up into the aggregate storage. I've also got to acquire one of these bucket elevator structure things here, this you know, crisscrossy thing, to fill that guy, because otherwise you're supposed to use that big long thing, you know, at an angle, but they just don't have the space for that here. They don't have enough room. Then we've got the cold warehouse. The cold warehouse came to be because I needed something to fit in that space, and I just like that car. So I just like that modern reefer car where it's got the refrigeration unit on the end with the platform. I was like, that thing looks cool. So I had to get the car. And I was like, you know what? I need a warehouse for the car. That's kind of how things go here. This area here, I need to either scratch build or 3D print a backup generator, a pretty big one, with a big transfer switch on the side there. So it's either going to be a Cat or a Cummins. So it'll either be a green transfer switch or a yellow one. That building in the back there with the water tower, that's the Heritage Furniture. That's the full-size kit. I bought that on eBay. The price was right. It was already built. Bought it. It arrived with minimal damage. Had to, reglue some pieces of the glass on the inside, the plastic, the clear plastic. But, shipping across the country, I don't care. Well worth it. Saves a lot of time. Fits right in there. It matches the feel of this industrial park. In a previous video I talked about this building here. I acquired that from the local train guy. I don't know if I had mentioned, but I also bought the identical kit and just kind of continued the same building style around the corner. That white stuff up on the top there, that was in that gap, and that's basically the leftover wall segments from this cold storage warehouse, because I didn't actually build the back side of the wall there, which was where they had all the glass doors and all that stuff, because nobody's gonna see it. It's up against the side of the container, so it's like, why even bother building it? So I took some the tree material, the sprues from the kit, and cut them to length and jammed them in there to support the roof. Called it a day. And then I was able to take the extra wall panels there and make a background kit from them. Bonus! Alright, so here is the centerpiece of the industrial park, the Sproutville Industrial Park. So, that structure there, I bought from the local guy, and it turned out to be the Sterling Dairy Factory. The one that I had been gifted, I don't know, many years ago for either birthday or Christmas or something, and it just sat in the box for all this time. I had to do a little bit of work on this area here. I had to tear that apart and re-glue it because it wasn't quite perfect enough for me. Built that crossway there, that elevated section, because there are some factories here in the Utica and specifically down in Alien, New York, Remington Arms, where they've got a similar deal with multi-story factories where Main Street used to go between them, and then they built a bridge, an enclosed bridge between them to move material from one side to the other. So for anybody who doesn't know what they're looking at right here, this is going to be the Sprout soap factory, because remember, Sprout makes her own soap. So this is to memorialize her soap making efforts. She gets her own factory. You have to prime the pump, and then eventually the universe will deliver. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. This building is where the mixing takes place. So that building in the background there, that's where the raw materials go together, the lye and all that stuff gets mixed together in big cauldrons, and then you get the saponification process, which chemically converts the oils and the fats into soap. So those 4 tanks in the background there are going to hold the raw material. They'll be painted chrome because they're going to be stainless. We got some air conditioners on there. We've got the Walthers volatile organic compound air filter over here. I need to acquire some tubing to properly connect this in and all the way across, and maybe even have a leg coming over here, because there's going to be a lab over here where they do small batches and quality assurance and all that. So there's going to be a duct coming in over there for that section of that plant. You're supposed to have a lot of good ventilation when you're working with lye. It's kind of nasty. This side over here is going to be packaging and shipping. So the box cars are pulling up here. We got some modern doors. Modern overhead doors on the side there. Basically, I just cut out the wall sections larger and put those doors in. And yes, those white plastic doors came from that. So it's I'm really liking the Walthers kits nowadays. They're giving you a lot more extra stuff to play with, and it really helps you, get a lot more creative. So you may notice here that these two buildings look similar, but they're a little bit different. So what happened here is back in the day, there was a renovation that took place, and part of the building here was used to put in an elevator. So all these windows that used to be open areas, that all got bricked off because now that's the elevator shaft. And then where it was extended up for the machinery room, well, there's no need for windows at all. So that's why that looks the way it does. And I tell you, them Masons did a good job. I mean, you can't even tell that it was an add-on, unless I told you it was. So this is the lobby office area, and you may recognize that the handicap ramp and the stairs and all those windows and doors came from that. Oh yeah, the other thing I did was, in order to acquire, see here, it's I think I took two of these stair platforms and glued it together. That's where I'm going with this. And I got to explain to you where the other stairs came from. So when it came time to get this volatile organic air cleaner and the dust collector, because remember, this is the packaging area, so you know there's a lot of cardboard and packaging and whatnot, so there's a lot of dust in the air, so that's what that guy's taking care of. That's the boiler house. I was running the math, and to buy that volatile organic air cleaner on its own, and then buy that dust collector on its own, I was at probably 75% of, where is it here? Modern, no, not that one. Where'd it go? No, that's the grocery store. Oh, there it is. I was at like 70% the cost of the modern printing plant, which you see comes with the air cleaner and the dust collector, plus it's a whole nother warehouse. And you see it's got those stair sections. Yeah, that's what I did, is I had to get the extra long top section, so I needed to borrow the flat from this and then hack up the angled stairs. So that's how I did that. Yeah, so I combined the stairs and the handicapped ramp kit from both the cold storage warehouse and that printing press building, and managed to create a pretty convincing and correct entrance for the Sprout soap factory. And we got these big monster windows here, and basically I just cut out the wall sections, and I cut out the freight door section. So there's the wall, remember this is the Walthers modulars, so these wall panels were the freight door. It was like a double door with a curved top. So most of that material was already gone anyway, so I just extended it up and cut it out very carefully with the Dremel, and then glued in the windows and the doors. And this lobby area here is going to have an interior. So you'll notice those old style factory windows in the back side there, that's going to get drywalled over. You won't see those windows. You will see something else in there though. That's what the whole point of these big windows on the front here. So that's down the road. We got air conditioners on the factory. They came from that kit, and I think some of the other kits. Again, Walthers is including a lot of extra stuff in their kits. You really get a good bang for your buck at this point. It's not like the olden days where you got the bare minimum to build the kit and maybe a few extra pieces. It's like you're getting a lot of extra stuff that really gives you more value. So I'm really glad to see it. And I'm glad that they got air conditioning in that factory, because, you know, I'm like dying here. Because I'm not running the fan, and I will be putting an air conditioner here in this shipping container. Oh boy. So yeah, so there's the soap factory. Really happy with how that came out. happy with how all this stuff came out. And basically, though, I had to, like, you know, rush to build these things and get them stood up so that I could figure out the track plan. Remember, I was considering doing like a whole whatever I was talking about in that last video, but this is how it is now. So you come out of this yard and you go down here and around this curve and over through the diamond, and now you're like in the industrial park. And you can come back here, and that's your first crossing there. So if you had to switch the concrete factory, you're going to be blocking traffic for a few minutes or whatever. But there's a good size of track here that if you had a couple cars for these things over here, shouldn't be a problem. But we've got a line there for the loads coming out. We've got a line here for either in or out, and then I think I'm going to put some tanks of some sort of stuff here with some loading platforms and whatnot for this factory with pipes going up into there. Got a line coming over there that goes all the way around the outside of the second half of the soap factory right to there. That line over there goes under Heritage Furniture. This center line goes between the two there. So I'm pretty sure I've got a good amount of track going on here. And then concrete plant, you go up in there and you got 3 tracks for the concrete plant there to store some cars on. I'm actually going to probably make a backdrop over there to create the illusion that this concrete plant goes way further out. So then that line comes up there. We got our 100-ton cement hoppers unloading under there. And I'm probably going to put a car dump thing underneath the track there so that aggregate hoppers can get spotted there and dump and then go up into the aggregate bins. Plus dump trucks can come in there, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see a 10-wheeler or a big semi tractor trailer dump truck in there. It looks high enough. Plus we got a off-road truck in there right now. All that area there is going to be parking. I'm going to have a crossing, a lit crossing there with gates on the end there, so that when you're standing down here looking down the road, you'll be able to see the crossing action. So pretty happy with how this has turned out so far. So big fan of these Walthers modular kits. Especially, they give you the ability to kind of let your creative mind run wild. So, we got that elevator shaft there, and then I was able to kind of, put this addition on the front of the factory and, create that lobby and office area. And I mean, I would almost say that you've got enough pieces in the kit to actually do a full 3rd story. Like, I really was thinking of adding a 3rd story onto this, but then it would completely block that and the tanks and that, and I'm like, I don't know. Because remember, when somebody is down on ground level here, so I'm holding this iPad right up in front of my face. I'm 6'2", so this is kind of, all designed around my vantage point. So it's sort of biased toward tall people, but oh well. I mean, I hope I'm still tall at this point. So I didn't want to add too much extra height onto that building. And as you can see, you can kind of still see the roof lines and the air conditioners, and it really gives you a feeling of depth. And especially with that Heritage Furniture building in the background there. So, if I do end up putting up like a backdrop or something around, behind all this, that'll really help as well. And just kind of create the illusion of a lot more stuff going on there. But yeah, a lot of progress, a lot more progress to come. Still got my eye out for more structures for Sproutville. I'm just kind of buying stuff that looks nice and fits what I'm trying to do. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out like how this road situation is going to be, and what other industries I can kind of fit around or behind, and then we'll start, you know, building our way out that way. But basically, this whole second shelf is pretty much the way it's going to be, as far as floor plan or you know, layout goes. You know, grocery store, gas station, you know, just kind of the elements of life, and then we get more and more rural as we go over that way, and then we're at the Amish farm, and then, you know, the model of my little slice of heaven up on the hill there, and then as we go back that way, it's all industrial, and then whole lot of rock carving to do here, and then it's gonna loop around. We still got to build this massive yard up top. Oh, look at that! I started work on the overhead crane. Pay no attention to those stupid bugs that got in here and just stuck themselves to the ceiling. Alright, so I got the little trolleys going on. I got some strut put up there. And I also acquired this overhead winch. It's a winch, not a wench. But I wouldn't mind if a pretty wench came over here to run my winch, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I got that thing up there, and it hit that bolt right there. So the sliding thingies, the trolley on top of the winch, which the trolley is made specifically for that winch. The trolley don't fit. These guys fit, and I've actually got two other ones that don't have wheels on the bottom side. These have wheels on the bottom to keep them from tilting inside the strut. So I had acquired more of them because my plans to make a carriage that you're going to lay in order to work on more of this stuff, and especially the third shelf. I don't want any tippage. So I need to figure out these trolley wheels and get that figured out, because I also need this winch to lift the generator in the generator shed. So the automatic propane generator that I'm working on in the other videos, I'm going to be using this winch to lift that up into place. So I'm going to be installing trolley track in there and strut to hang the generator from. And the idea is I'm going to use this winch to lift it up and then you know, wheel it into where it needs to be, bring the strut up underneath it and the threaded rod, get it all nice and happy, and then let it down, and then remove the winch. So yeah, there you have it. Big ol' update. A lot of progress. I'm very happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I need to find me some air conditioning, just saying. So it's July something or other. We're getting flash floods all over the place. Hope everybody's staying safe, especially in Pennsylvania today and tonight. And I'll be seeing you toward the end of the week after my overnight work is complete. Like, share, and subscribe. TechBilly83. And I hope you like what you see here. Catch you later.